So let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Balavishnu. I have been running this company called Techno-Tackle for the past decade. It is based out of Coimbatore, a city located in southern part of India. So that's it about me. So I want to get a quick background check on the audience. So I want to see the diversity. So how many IT companies here? Any IT? Okay, awesome. IT companies. Great. Any HR professionals? Wonderful. Oh, IT HR. Wonderful. Great, sir. It's a nice combination. Great. Any small and medium business owners? Business owner? Great. Okay, great. So this presentation would be a very good value addition for you. So let me quickly ask you a question. What is the biggest people-related problem which you are facing in your business currently? Any answers? Any people-related? Retaining top performance. Perfect. Retaining top performance. Directly to the point. Any other problem which you are facing? That's the major. Okay, great. So that's exactly what we are going to talk about today. So how do we retain people better? That's exactly the topic for today. Now, whenever I do this presentation, some people think that, okay, is attrition really that big of a thing? Because if someone leaves, we can replace them tomorrow with some other person, right? Not a big deal, right? That's what generally people think of attrition whenever I tell this topic. But let me answer that with a backstory, a real story which happened to a friend of mine few years back. Few years back, a friend of mine, he quit his corporate job, wanted to start something of his own in food tech space. He had a product idea to develop, so he wrote down the idea. He contacted an IT outsourcing agency and outsourced the project. It was quite a big project. The overall project duration was around 2 years, but with multiple milestones. So he outsourced the project, and it was a fair budget as well. Monthly, the budget was around $2,500. It was a very proper project. So at any point of time, maximum 5 resources were required to work in this project. They are like front-end developer, back-end developer, UI, UX, project manager, testing, etc. But any guesses as how many people really worked in the project over the span of 2 years? Any guesses? 26 people worked. 5 people were supposed to work, but in reality, in 2 years, 26 people worked. What is the reason? Because of the attrition in the source company. People kept leaving and they were being replaced by different people. So one particular problem my friend experienced was, whenever someone left and a new person came in, he experienced a productivity drop. There was a drop in efficiency because the new person, the new developer was new to the project. He don't have much background and he needs to understand the code base fully, etc. So, and since this repeated 26 times, any idea what was the end result of the project? Any guesses? Yes. You're right. Very unfortunately, it didn't take off, and he had to drop the entire business and he had to move to a different domain. That's exactly what happened to my friend. Today he is in a different domain. So that's how critical attrition is. It can make or break companies. So we also need to keep our attrition in check. This is what we are going to discuss today on techniques. So, and my friend is not alone. This is a case study done by McKinsey in 2022 during the Great Attrition period. So in India, around 66% of the folks are actively looking to change their jobs in the next 3 to 6 months. Singapore is the second highest with 49%. That is half of your company looking to change jobs the moment they get the opportunity, right? So any company, be it small or big, this is an alarming number, right? If 66% of people in any company leaves one particular day, it's going to be about similar in Singapore, and the US is slightly better with 40%, UK 33%, Canada all fall in the similar 40 ranges. So this is a global problem which needs to be tackled, right? So still not convinced that you should reduce your attention rate. Let me give you some numbers. So every time a developer is replaced in a project, the project efficiency drops by 7 to 10% based on research. Okay? So now consider this. Say suppose during a 2-year project there has been 6 KTs or 6 transitions. Then 100 minus 7, 7 let's assume the minimal efficiency drop. 100 minus 7 is 93, make it as percentage 0.93, raised to the power of 6 because 6 times the resource have been replaced. We end up with an efficiency of around 65%. Worst case, if there are 9 people who get out, then the efficiency comes to 52%. But at Technotackle, since we have our attrition rate in check, we will be able to do it at just 2 transitions. Our efficiency will be around 83%. So just by keeping your attrition in check, you can improve your efficiency of the project by 22 to 34%. This is what our research says. So it is very important that we put our efforts into reducing our attrition rate because this 22 to 34% is going to be your end profit. If there are too many attritions, obviously your profit will go down in the drain. So this is not something ideal, right? At Technotackle, we have cracked the code. So we have a team of around 70 full-time employees currently. So over the last few years, we have been able to maintain our attrition rate below 5%. Post obviously the great attrition of 2022, we took some serious measures, some serious long-term measures, which have given good results. And today we have a very good attrition rate. I'm here to share with you on the different strategies which we used to reduce our attrition rate so that you can benefit. Some of these strategies can be directly implemented in your concern. Some may need little bit of tweaks depending on the industry. Some may not be relevant to industry because this is all relevant to IT industry. Right? So are you ready to see some of the top strategies? Right? Great. Awesome. Great. Thank you. So let me ask you a quick question before I reveal the first strategy. What is the day-to-day activity in which an employee starts lying? Very simple activities, but they are forced to lie. Can you give me any examples? Skills, right? In resume, they may lie about skills, right? After coming inside the company, what they may lie? Okay, So there are various scenarios. One common scenario is while applying for leave. Say, suppose they want a day off. Say, suppose they are a bit tired or they don't feel well, so they want a day off. So they approach the manager and say that, hey, I need leave. Sometimes the managers will be like, no, this is a very simple reason. You can't take leave for these things. Like that, it creates, and he is forced to tell lies, right? So just for getting leave, he tells unnecessary lies like my grandmother is dead, my mother is hospitalized. Unnecessarily, they keep telling lies, right? So it doesn't put both of us in the right position. So how do you feel being lied to? You feel bad, right? So key law is very true. So when we monitor and scrutinize leaves too much, it results in an unsecure environment where the employees are forced to lie because they are afraid to tell the truth. That it creates such a toxic environment. To prevent that, one thing what we have done is at Technotackle over the last 9 years, we have implemented a no questions asked leave policy. Meaning, you apply for leave, you get leave. No need to explain any reasons. We did that, and this has addressed a lot of trust issues. And over the 9 years, I have the data. 99% of the leaves have been approved in our company on this. And why do we do that? Because we believe that there is also a life outside work, and that life also matters, and it is more important than the work. So this is missing in many companies, because of which it happens. Now you can ask me a question. Okay, what to do if there is an urgent delivery? That day there may be a delivery, and he asks leave. What do you do, right? In this case, we talk to them openly, saying that, hey, there is an urgent need. What shall we do? So since they know this policy, they know that we ask only when there is a real need. So what they do is either they adjust and move their responsibilities elsewhere, or they work extra the previous weeks and finish it before, so that the project is not affected. Either way, we manage it internally, right? Worst comes worst, we will assign some other resource, or we'll use a vendor partner to get the resource and get it done. But this is a process issue, right? Process issue should stay as a process issue. When you don't address a process issue for a week or a month, it becomes a people issue. when you don't address a people issue for 6 months, it becomes culture issue, right? So it is very important that we don't convert a normal process issue into people issue or culture issue. That has bigger impact in the company. And this one simple thing has has addressed 50% of the trust gap in our organization, because we believe that when truth is the input, the outcome is the trust, right? So this is the belief, and this has given us good returns over the years. Next, let me ask you another question. What is the most common reason for someone to leave an organization? Common reason. Yes, that's one particular reason, right? Any other reason? Yes, better opportunities or better hikes, financial growth, right? They need growth, right? That is the most common reason why people leave the company. So at Technodag, we have did two things which created ways for them to earn over and above their salary, which I'm going to talk about now. One is we have introduced a performance-based monthly incentive system for the last 1.5 years, where what we have done is for whoever the resources who are in monthly contracts, which is the key revenue source for our company, every month we get a rating form like this from the customer saying that, okay, what is his rating in these, and we take the average. In case he gets 5 out of 5, whatever is the profit we earned that month using that resource, we give 10% as a flat incentive. There is no upper limit to it. There are some of our resources who are earning $250, $300 per month as incentive on top of the salary, right? So here, and it is important that we also pay the industry standard salary, and on top of that, when we are able to do this, it gives an added advantage to us, and it helps retain our key people, because key people work in critical projects. Critical projects generally have better budget, so they get better incentives, so they are motivated to stay longer. This is the loop that keeps running, and this created a win-win-win situation for us. Here the employee is winning because he gets monthly incentive, which is like a bonus. The customer is happy because he puts in dedicated efforts, because this guy has to do the rating. And as an employer, we are happy because we are able to retain the key employees, and also get those people do better to the end customer, right? So this creates a good value chain, and this we have been working for the last 1.5 years. Right after the great attrition, we implemented this, and this has been really helpful to us. Right? The next question. Say suppose you have a project, but you don't have bandwidth to execute that project. What would you do generally? Right, hire freelancers or hire external people, right? That's definitely one option. So at Technodag, sometimes what we do is, say sometimes we have new project, but we don't have bandwidth. We use our in-house employees as freelancers. Basically, we ask them, hey, I have this particular project, this is the budget. If anyone has bandwidth and want to work after office hours and finish it and get paid extra, the opportunity is there for you, right? So we have been doing this for the last 4 years, and trust me, around 20 people in our company have taken this, and they have been getting monthly good revenue. This is over and above the salary and over and above the incentive, right? So here the advantage is, instead of hiring an external freelancer, we use our own in-house people, because we know them. The trust gap is not there, and they know the process, and they trust us also. And it is very important that we don't push this into their throat, because some people, their money may not be the challenge. They want a quality, right? Those people will never take this. It is important to ask their whether they are okay with it, and then implement this. That's exactly what we did. People work 2 to 3 hours after office hours, and they earn some good side income, and they also work on weekends in case there is a project need. And customer is also happy because of that we are able to deliver faster, right? So this is one strategy that really worked for us. Next, this is a bit controversial one, but I will still go ahead and tell it. We expect our employees to deliver on time, but sometimes we don't deliver our commitments on time. What do I mean by that? Say, I don't know about Singapore, and talk about Singapore. In India, many small and medium IT or small and medium companies, they generally don't pay their staffs on time. They depend on customers' cash flow, and sometimes due to poor financial management, what they do is they use the cash flow for their personal purposes, and the business gets suffered. and they wait for the next customer, and it delays the salaries. So what happens is that the loans or EMIs of the employees get affected. So because of that, people leave. And trust me, every time someone new person applies to a company, we ask this question: why do you leave from the current organization? 60% of the people said that the current organization is not paying salaries on time, which is why we want to leave. It is very common in my place on this. So this is something that should definitely be avoided. And a key fact about this is, one of our top resource who is managing our leading US customer, he came to us 3 years back because of the same issue. Even now, he told me that if the previous boss had paid the salaries on time, I wouldn't have even come here. So that is the only motivation. Rest, everything was fine in the company. But this missed, and this is very important from an employee point of view. Right? So pay salaries on a time, on a fixed date. It may be 5th, 10th, based on your norms, but have a specific date and stick to it so they can plan their commitments accordingly. Okay. Next. So generally, on what basis of the hikes decided? We have parameters, right? We get ratings, and if it is outstanding, say 10% hike. If it is meeting expectation, 5% hike. If it is below expectations, 2% hike. That's how generally hike works, right? So at Technotacle, what we did is, some of the freshers, right? Freshers generally start at a low pay scale because initially they can't add much value. But many freshers know what they did is, in the first year itself, they have been so good that after first year, their output is similar to second year or third year candidate. So they did a lot of hard work and they came to that level. So for those people, what we did is, we even gave up to 100% hike to match their market skills. Because even though his experience is only 1 year, but he is performing like a 2 year. So we match their salary for the 2 year and not the first year. This also helped us retain some of our key resources. This is what I generally tell. So don't manage your attrition, manage your trust. Once you manage the trust, attrition automatically comes down, right? And what do we do to manage the trust? First of all, we don't do micromanagement unless someone is in a performance review scheme. So this really helps. So we give them a deadline. We don't ask the status until the deadline on this. But this has to be used with care. Not all employees are also like this. But you can identify those people easily and you can give them free space. So that really help. And next, we gave an option of flexible timing. There is no hard and fast office working hours. This really helped many people adjust their family commitments. There will be some ladies who have kids, so they send them to school and then they start late, and then we are fine with it as long as the work gets delivered. This helped us retain some amount of people. And next, we do some emergency financial help. Sometimes they need some advance salaries or something like that. We help them so that they reciprocate the trust back. So these things really helped us over the years. And one thing that also worked us in the last 2 years is training freshers. During the COVID time, there was a great demand for developers. You all know. So that time, what we did is, we set up our own in-house training team. We started to take freshers and hire and train the freshers from scratch. This really helped us. The attrition rate in freshers is very, very low compared to the experienced people, because there is a sense of gratitude, because we made them who they are today. They know that, and there is a sense of gratitude, and they tend to stay longer. So this is something you can explore if you are. Okay, next. So people stay when they feel growth, right? You all agree? When they feel growth, they stay. But how do you make them feel growth? Growth is a feeling, right? How do you make it? Yes, correct. Personal growth, right? So we can make them feel growth when they are able to do things that they thought were not possible for them before, right? If we are able to somehow make them do that, then they'll feel that, okay, I was not able to do this when I came here, today I am able to do this, so I am growing, right? So that's something. So for that, we introduced several learning and development programs, one of which I will talk about today. One is called English Enhancement Program. We are from a Tier 2 city in India, and we hire from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, and even many of our employees are from villages. There, the biggest challenge is they are good in their local language, But English is a bit of challenge for them, right? It happens in almost everywhere where they are not a native English speaker, right? But most of our customers do not know the local language. It is very important for them to speak in English, right? So this is a challenge which we face. So to handle this, what we did is we every week 3 times we form a group like this for 15 minutes and we discuss some general topics. Be it like what is the last movie you watched, what is the last Netflix film you watched. It can be any topic, simple topic, but the objective is 2 things. Listen to other people speaking English. You try and speak English. There is no judgment in the call. We ensure that no one is judged in the call. They need to speak out. That we ensure, and this we did for the last 2 years, and this was the result. One of our top US customers, the CTO of a US company, he acknowledged to me that our resources English has significantly improved, and whatever you are doing, keep continuing that. So this really worked, and this helped us retain as well because they felt the growth. That's the right. So our learning and in our learning and development, this is the philosophy we follow. Practice is more important than learning. Consistency is important than quality because quality comes as we keep repeating it. Right? Progress is more important than perfection. Peer-to-peer learning is more important than professional learning because before trying this, what we did is we brought in a professional English coach and we tried teaching. Didn't work, to be frank. But when we did a peer-to-peer learning, it gave us results. And most importantly, give them feedback, don't give them judgment. That helped. So, last but not least, the mother of all strategies. We don't fire for market conditions. One biggest challenge in the IT industry, at least in the recent years, is there has been massive layoff, left, right, centers. During COVID time, they hired everywhere. Whoever they got, they hired. But now, since the market has stabilized, they started firing. So that is nothing wrong with the employee. So it is purely a business decision which caused this. So even we faced similar situation in 2023 when the IT market stabilized or little bit crashed. So that time we didn't fire even one single person. That time we had a bench of around 20 people. 20 people were sitting idle out of 70 people. This is like around 25% of my company sitting idle. But we took a decision that we are not going to fire any of them, and that created a very good trust. That assurance that no one is going to be fired. It will be good. We'll be putting you in a retraining program where we'll be training them in newer technologies and deploying them, right? So the problem with hiring is you can fire them today to show some short-term profits. Next quarter you need profits to make your investors happy. The easiest way to do is fire few people, reduce the monthly expense, show profit. Very simple. Now, the biggest challenge here is after 3 months or after 6 months, when your business comes back to normal, hiring such people again is going to be very difficult, and you will have to spend double the money and double the time to hire these kind of people, right? So this strategy really helped us ensure that the trust is there. Right? So what else helped us in supporting this? How we were not able to fire in spite of having such a bench. So that time we introduced something called proactive management of bench. Every week we get on a meeting. I ensure that I am there, and all my managers, top managers, and sales team are there. And we review the work allocation of every single resource in the company, and we take a bench list who are all in bench and what is their skill set, and we give the weekly targets to our sales team accordingly. Say suppose a React developer is in bench, it is the responsibility of the sales team to focus on React and get React projects. That really helped us in maintaining our bench. We ensure that the bench doesn't prolong for long. We were able to cut short. And also we introduced a service called staff augmentation 2 years back. Say suppose I have a Java resource in bench. Sir may be needing a Java resource for this project. So that time what we did is we were publishing to our IT companies, okay, you want Java developers, take from me. Use them for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, as long as your project is needed, and return back the resource to me. I will be taking a small margin out of that. So here, how it helped us is, it helped us manage the bench, and it was a win to the customer as well. Instead of they going and hiring from the market, we were able to give good quality resource on an immediate basis. That helped them as well, and it helped us reduce the bench as well. This is a service we introduced 2 years back, and it really helped us in managing our bench resource. right? So at Technotackle, we are not profitable in spite of doing all this. We are profitable because of doing this. Due to these strategies, last 3 years we have grown 6x in the last 3 years, both in terms of revenue and in terms of profit. These really helped us lay a very strong foundation. So this is our team. So before closing, I'd like to ask one thing. So Harvard Research did a very big study. It was the longest study in the mankind. The duration of the study was around 83 years, right? Starting from 1930s till 2003, they did a research. The research was to find what is the number one thing that makes a person happy in life. It can be money for some, it can varies, right? Right. So it depends. So it was a pretty long study. 5 generations of people were involved in this study, and John F. Kennedy was also one of the participants in this study. Any guesses on the reason? What can be what was the outcome of this? Perfect. Great. So strong and meaningful relationship. That is what makes a person happy, and this has been revealed in the Harvard case study. You can Google this Harvard 85-year-old case study, you will get this. So it is important that we maintain a strong and positive relationship with our employees, and we both can grow, the company and the employee. So thank you very much. Thank you for being a audience. So this is my LinkedIn ID. Feel free to scan and connect with me. So any questions? I think we have time.
Thank you very much for sharing the amazing journey. My name is Jeff. I'm from Talentcraft HR Consultancy Service. So the strategies that you shared with us was very interesting, and from a business owner's view, I was very curious to understand how did you think about the strategies, and what are some of the challenges you face in implementing the strategies?
Thank you, Jeff. That's a very interesting question. So first of all, I used a consultant's support to frame some of these strategies. Not everything was my own idea, I'll be honest about it. And regarding the challenges, first challenge is short-term pain. There will be short-term pain. Say, for example, the incentives, right? So every month we give around $2,500 as incentives collectively for many of our employees. So $2,500 of short-term profit I lose every month on month. There is going to be short-term pains, but in the long run, they stayed with me. The customer is happy because the same way is working for last 2 years. In the long run, it gave me good profits, and the customer was happy, and he kept giving me more business. So in the short run, be ready to take some pain. There will be pain in different directions, especially financial stress may be there, but I guarantee that there will be long-term gains. Any other question? Awesome. Thank you.